my name is Jo Adams and I am the Skirt Boss. I am filming my very first tutorial and I'm super excited because it is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. The reason why it took so long is because I just didn't know what I was doing. And I was kind of terrified to do it too because I just didn't feel like I had the tools and resources. I still don't feel like I have the tools and resources, but it's just time to get it done. It's just one of the things I want to accomplish. So if there's something that you want to accomplish, something that you want to get done, I highly encourage you to just go ahead and just go for it. Go for it and see what happens. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going for it. This tutorial is going to be about how to make a tube dress. Earlier today, I posted on Instagram this tube dress. And it's something that I actually made yesterday. I made it yesterday morning and it took me about an hour to make. I probably could have made it faster, but I was watching TV. You know how it is when you're watching TV, you get a little distracted. But it's very simple to cut. You don't need a pattern. You don't even need to have advanced sewing knowledge. If you know how to do a basic stitch, you can make this dress. You really can. So I'm going to teach you guys how to make it. And the great thing about a tube dress is it's something that you can wear year-round, especially in the fall. Like if you're going to make it for the fall, just use a winter fabric. And if you're going to make it for the spring or summer, you can use a lightweight, breathable fabric. The best fabric to use for this dress is a knit. You want a 2-way or a 4-way stretch knit. And that's what I have here. I'm actually sewing my stash because I just have a lot of fabric that I need to use because I spent my hard-earned money on that fabric. So this is some fabric that I found in my stash, and it is a knit fabric. And with yours, the fabric needs to stretch. See that? It needs to have a stretch. So make sure that you get a fabric that can really stretch, because one of the great things about the tube dress is you don't need a zipper, you don't need a closure, you don't need a button, you don't need anything because you pretty much pull the dress on. That's the whole point of the tube dress. It's easy to wear, easy to sew, easy to style. It's just pretty much easy to work with. If you are a size extra small to an extra large, then you will need about 2 to 2.5 yards of fabric depending on how long your dress is. If you are 2 extra large to 6 extra large, then you may need 3.5 to 4 yards of fabric. And I'll definitely share with you guys how to cut the fabric to make sure that you purchase enough fabric to do this project. Another thing you will need is elastic. You need stretch elastic. It needs to be kind of thick. You don't want a flimsy elastic. You want something that can really hold, and the reason why is the tube part of your dress is actually going to go up here. So you want something that's comfortable, something that's not necessarily going to, bend and fold when after it's been cased, but you just want something that's really comfortable up here. This is 1 inch wide, but I do recommend either 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch. And I have braided elastic, and I really like the braided elastic because it's really strong. It's really strong, and it's going to give you great coverage. It's going to hold up well. It's not going to slide down. It's really going to stay, and that's what's important when you're making this dress. The first thing you want to do is you want to get your measurements. So you need a tape measure. This is the best kind of tape measure because it fully wraps around the body. So I'm going to demonstrate on the dress form, and I'm going to demonstrate on my body so I can show you how you can do it on your own. So there are 3 measurements that you're going to need. You're going to need above the bust. Above the bust is right here. And when you measure above the bust, make sure the tape measure is firm on your skin, your bare skin, and you put the measurement. So the measurement for the dress form is 34 inches. 34 inches above bust. And then the next thing you're going to need is front above bust. And when you do the front above bust, you're just taking the front measurement. So you start from the side of your body to the other side of your front body, and then you get that measurement. The next measurement that you're going to get is the natural waist. The natural waist is not the belly button. I repeat, the natural waist measurement is not at the belly button. If you've been measuring your natural waist down here, that is incorrect. Your natural waist is where your body is the smallest part of your upper torso. And the easiest way to see it is if you've been to the side, it's where your body creases. You can definitely see it on the dress form because she has pretty much like a Coke bottle shape, but not everyone has a Coke bottle shape. I don't have a Coke bottle shape. So if you're not able to tell where your natural waist is, all you have to do is bend to the side. Wherever the crease is, that's your natural waist. So this is my natural waist right here. So you're going to measure your natural waist all the way around. Make sure it's firmly on your skin. And the natural waist measurement for the dress form is 26 inches. Then, after you do that measurement, you're going to do the front natural waist. And that's just the front part of your natural waist. So you're gonna go from the side of your body to the other side of your body. And the front natural waist of the dress form is 13 inches. Now, on a real body, that's not a dress form, you're gonna find it's not going to be half and half. So far, it's been 34 and then 17 for the front. That's half. And it's been 26 and 13 for the front. It's half, right? It's not probably going to be that way on your natural body. For example, let's talk about my measurements. If you're doing it yourself, all you have to do is take the tape measure around your back and make sure that it's firm, close to your skin. Take your measurement. My above bust measurement is 30, right? Now, if I'm doing the front above bust, I start from the side of my body to the other side of my body, right here, and I see the measurement is 16. So my above bust measurement is 30, and my front above bust measurement is 16. So make sure you write that down, and it does not have to be in half, because it's probably not going to be in half. So if you don't get two numbers that, a whole number and then the half of that number, is totally fine. Your natural body is not a dress form, okay? The last measurement that you're going to get is your upper hip. Now, with your upper hip is actually the widest part of your lower body. So wherever your widest part around your buttocks is, that's what you want to measure. So here's the upper hip for the dress form. The widest part is here. And the thing that you want to do with your dress form is you want to figure out how far it is, or your personal body, if you're making this for yourself, is you want to figure out how far it is from above your bust to your natural waist, and then from your natural waist to your hip. So from here, it would be 8 inches from the above bust to, 7.5 inches from above bust to the natural waist, and then 9 inches from the waist to the hip for her. That's how it is for the dress form. For my personal body, because you do want to get your own personal measurements if you're making it for yourself, it would be starting here from above bust to my waist is 10 inches, and from my natural waist to my hip is actually 10 inches. Okay, so everyone is different, so make sure that you're getting your own measurements. If you're kind of making this for someone else, then you could just use a standard of 9 and 9 or 8 and 8. I would use 8 and 8, but either way it's gonna fit because the dress is stretched. We just want to make sure it stretches in all the right places. Now the other option is to not have a shape in your dress at all. You can pretty much take the draft that we're making and you can just cut straight down. Like, you don't even need a curve or anything. I personally like creating the curves because I don't really have any curves. And it just kind of looks better. But if you are making this for someone else, all you really need is the bust measurement, and then you can create a dress from there. And this fabric would just stretch with your body and it'll be super duper cute. Okay, so here are a few things that you're going to need. You're going to need a pencil, You're going to need a tape measure. Optional, you need a ruler, French curve, scissors. Okay. First thing you want to do is you want to get your measurements. So I have the measurements here. You need your above bust, your front above bust, your natural waist, your front natural waist, your hip, and your front hip. Make sure you have all these measurements before you begin. Okay. Now, what you want to do with your front above bust is you want to go ahead and divide that by 2, which is going to give us 9 inches. And then for your front natural waist, you want to divide that by 2, which is going to give us 6.5 inches. And then for your front hip, you want to divide that by 2, which is going to give us 9 inches. So here's what we're working with. We're going to go ahead and we're going to draft those onto this paper. Because we know that the top of the dress is supposed to be 18 inches across, we're going to do that in half. We're going to do 9. However, we're not going to do 9 inches. We're going to subtract an inch here. So put that here. And if I were you, I would just start from the edge of the paper. It doesn't matter. You can start from the edge of the paper, or you can start in the middle and just cut it later. But we definitely want to make sure this is 8 inches. So I'm going to use the marker so that you can see. Here it is 8 inches. Now, and let's say the measurement from the bust to the hip is 9. And the measurement from the hip to the waist is 9. Okay. So then you want to go down 9 inches. And now you want to put your front natural waist measurement, which is 6.5, 9 inches down. So we got 6.5, which stops right here. Now, do we want to use 6.5? Not necessarily. We can actually use 6 or 5.5. So I am going to use 6 inches. But you can use 5.5, you can use 6.5. It doesn't matter. And then go all the way down another 9 inches. Here's 9 inches here. So we're on this row. And it's going to be 9 across. So I'm going to do 8 across. That's right here. And this is my hip, just so you can kind of see it. My 8 inches across. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect all these dots, and I'm going to connect all the dots in purple. So I'm going to use my purple marker, and you could use your curve if you want. I'm not going to use the curve. You could just freehand it. I'm going to kind of down to here, and then curve this on down to here. Okay. And then from here, now depending on how you want your dress, if you want your dress to go straight down, then you continue going straight down. So if you want it to be fully fitted, but if you want your dress to kind of have like a mermaid look, then at the hip, that's where you are going to start flowing it out. And you can kind of do that at an angle. So you just do it at like a 45 degree angle. And come on down like that. And then we're going to go that way. And then with this one, it's coming straight down. So we would just come straight down this way. Okay. So now we have the above the bust is here. We have the natural waist here, and we have the hip here. And then if we want a fitted dress, we just cut it straight down. If we wanted to kind of flow out to the side, we would extend it at the hip. But this is what self drafting is all about. You're going to draft this yourself. Okay, so if you have a 1-inch elastic, you give it another inch. Or if you have, let's say like 1.5-inch elastic, then you might want to extend it a little bit more. You just need enough room for your elastic. And then let's say we had 1-inch elastic, we would probably do it about right here. And this is 1-inch elastic. So now we've made the casing for the elastic. And this is what we have. So now we have our sloper. We're going to have the elastic, and this is the elastic that I'm using, so I want to make sure I make a casing for it. So I am going to leave some room up here for my casing. So if my elastic is this big, I'll make sure I have a little room. So that's my elastic. And this elastic is 1 inch. So 1 inch elastic. Right, so you just want to label everything just in case you forget in the future. You'll know what everything is, or if you want to teach someone or share your draft with someone. So here's your draft. So we have your self draft. We're gonna put that there, and now we gotta go with your fabric. I've changed fabric. I found another fabric, and I'm going to lay it down on the side that is stretchy. Okay, so the width is going to be the stretch, so you want to make sure you do that. So you're going to take it and lay it down. Now my length is 55 inches, so I want to make sure that I cut this dress at least 55 inches long, because I'm making a maxi dress. But I'm going to fold this dress over like this. Now I'll show you guys the easier way to do it. If I were you, I would actually just fold it in half. So you fold this in half. I'm gonna teach you a little trick that I do to make this go faster. This is going to be the front of your dress, so you want to make sure you have enough fabric up here for the casing, and you do not have to cut seam allowance. I don't cut seam allowance. However, if you're one of those people that need seam allowance, go ahead, because with these dresses, it's going to stretch, and the tighter the better. But if you do need seam allowance, please feel free to add seam allowance. I just don't. Okay. Now my dress is going to flare out as it comes down, so I'm going to make sure that I cut on the green line instead of the purple line. So now I'm going to start cutting. You can pin this down to your fabric. If you have pins or fabric weights, you can pin it down. If not, if you have fabric weights, you can just weigh it down. And then you're going to start cutting. So make sure that it's on the line. And then let's say I do want to cut with a little seam allowance, I would do this. I would cut like this. But you don't have to cut with any seam allowances. And now I'm going to follow the green line. And I'm just going to follow the natural point of the fabric and then cut all the way down there. And you're going to use the same pattern that you cut and use the same pattern, but this time instead of making it exact, what you're going to do is you're actually going to bring this in like this. So this needs to be up here. So I'm gonna bring this in an inch. And the reason why we're bringing it in an inch is because your back is generally smaller than your front, and that's the way you want it to be. Okay. And then now we're going to cut. So you see we took out an inch. We didn't have to draft a new pattern to do that. Put the weights on. And now we are going to cut. And this time I am going to cut on the line without seam allowance, so you can see how that is. And I'm still following the curve of the green line, following that direction because I want my dress to spread out a little bit. And then I'm just gonna go naturally towards the direction of my fabric. Now if my fabric was wider, if I had not cut my fabric in half, then my dress would be wider. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to attach your front to your back. With my front, I went ahead and I put a pin in it so that I know that it's my front. But the easiest way to, of course, tell the front from the back is your front is going to be bigger than your back. So we're gonna go ahead and pin these together. Okay, so now you want to, I serge mine, but you can definitely use a sewing machine if you don't have a serger, but I like to serge mine. Now we're gonna do the other side. And then you want to serge the top of your garment. Now this is what your dress should look like. You should have, if you have a serger, you can serge this at the top. If you don't, it's fine because it's a knit. And then you just want to make sure that both sides are sewn together. Yeah, so we're just sewing both sides together. So this is how it should look. And now what we're going to do is we're going to apply the casing for the elastic. Now you want to take your elastic and you want to cut it based on your above bust measurement. So let's say your above bust was 36, then I would recommend you cutting this to about 33, at least 3 or 4 inches less than what your bust measurement is. If your elastic is really stretchy, at least do 5 inches. If it's not as stretchy, then do 2 to 3 inches. So of course mine was 29, so I am going to actually do mine at 27. I'm gonna mark 27. So I went ahead and marked mine at 27. So I'm going to use this silver line when I apply mine. Okay, so now you want to make sure that your sewing machine is on the elastic stitch. So you want to make sure you're on the elastic. Well, actually, you can be on the straight stitch. I'm sorry. So now you want to make sure you're on the straight stitch. And you want to also change the color of your thread. You want your thread to at least match your material. So I'm going to get out my blue so I can match my dress. Probably should have did a navy, but it's fine. This is all I have, so use what you have. So now what you're going to do is you're going to place it right by the serge edge, or at least leave a little bit, just a little bit at the tip, and you're going to sew this down on the side. Sew it down on the side. Cut that off. As you can see that in my dress. You can see how I sewed that like that, right? Okay. And now, flip this over like this. So now we flipped it over. And you want to make sure you pull this so that it's over the elastic, okay? So you don't want to sew onto the elastic at all. You want the elastic to be inside of here. So here's my elastic, see? Here's my elastic, and here's the side. Don't sew the elastic, just sew on the side of it so that it can still move with on the inside. So this is the front of my dress. I'm gonna move that pin. So make sure that you have room like this. And if you want, you can actually stretch the fabric as you sew, especially since it's a knit and I'm not doing the zigzag stitch. You can do a zigzag stitch if you want. I'm not, but if you're a beginner, just do a straight stitch. Now remember, you are not sewing the elastic, so don't sew the elastic, just sew the edges. See, you see that elastic right there? You do not want to sew that. Now when you get towards the end, you see you have the part where you marked it off. You want to go ahead and snip that. And you want to get you a pin. And you want to go ahead and pin that back to the beginning, because this is where we started. So we're going to pin this to the beginning here. So we're back where we started, and we're just going to pin this down here. Okay, because we're almost there. So now let's finish sewing until we get there. Alright, and you see we're almost at the beginning. Alright. Now it doesn't seem like it's so much stretch here. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to shorten this another, I think I did 27 inches, and I really want to do about 25, so I'm going to shorten mine another 2 inches. Now you want to make sure that you sew over the elastic, because we do not want the elastic to ever pop out. So you can sew over the elastic here. Yes. Your dress should look like this. You have your elastic case at the top of the dress. You can see that here. This is the wrong side. This is the right side. And then this is the front of my dress. Remember, I put a pin in the dress so I can remember the front. But if you can't remember, the front is always bigger than the back. And then it is sewn on both sides. You can see my above bust, the curve that goes to my natural waist, and the curve that goes down to my hip line. Now for my dress, mine is a maxi dress. You can make your dress however long you want. A maxi length on me from the above bust to the floor is 55 inches. If for some reason your dress is not even at the bottom, it's totally fine. You may have done what I did. I really didn't take the time to fold and cut evenly. I just made sure I had a dress that was at least 56 inches long, well really 57 inches long, so that I could have enough for my casing at the top. So if your dress is not even, and it appears that the front is in a straight line, but the back is, oh, it's just off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna line it up right here. I'll line it up on the 27 right there. And I'm gonna The great thing about knits, most knit fabrics, they do not fray. So you don't even have to hem your dress if you don't want to. I'm not hemming mine. But if you do want to hem your dress, you just do a simple hem. Then we're gonna take our pins out that we had on the side. If you haven't taken yours out, you can do that now. And I'm going to fold the dress inside out. We'll turn the dress inside out. This is the front of my dress. And here is my beautiful